Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be taking a look at an article written by Cynthia Freyland of NFL Network and each NFC's win total projection for the 2024 season. Obviously, as all of you know, the Buccaneers' 2024 season schedule was released, as was the entirety of the NFL. So based on that information, as well as some other factors as well, game theory and algorithms and things like that, Cynthia Freyland has made her own projection total based on all those algorithms and game theories that she uses. So let's go ahead and dive right into it, see where the Buccaneers are on the NFC side of things. So the 49ers are number one, not too surprising in that scenario. Eagles coming in at number two. Probably wouldn't have them at number two, but it is what it is. They might be the best team in the NFC East, but I don't think they would be a 2 seed in this scenario. The Detroit Lions are number three. That would probably be the team I would have in the 2nd seed. Atlanta Falcons are number 4. So according to Cynthia Freyland, right now, today, the Atlanta Falcons are going to win the NFC South. They have minus 320 odds to make the playoffs. You got to figure that Kirk Cousins signing is the biggest factor into that. Ultimately, we'll see what happens. I think that Cousins is definitely going to propel this team to playoff caliber heights if he can stay healthy, and this will be the team that will be the biggest competition, in my opinion, for the Bucs in that NFC South rate. But the Falcons come in at number 4. At number 5, you have the Green Bay Packers coming in. At number 6, you have the LA Rams, which I wouldn't 100% agree with this one. You lost Aaron Donald. That's bad. That's really bad for the Rams. And Matthew Stafford is showing his age so far up to this point. How much are those things going to take into effect and have a factor? We're going to have to wait and see. But the Rams and Packers being up here, specifically the Packers, not really surprising. The Rams, a little surprising, especially after you lose Aaron Donald in that mix. But you have 4th, the Atlanta Falcons, 5th, the Green Bay Packers, 6th, the LA Rams, 7th, the Dallas Cowboys coming in. Now, they haven't done much this offseason, and I've gotten a lot of criticism for this, so this is another interesting spot to see them in. Number 8, you have the Seattle Seahawks not making the playoffs. Coming in at number 9, you have the Chicago Bears. Then at number 10, you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at plus 140 odds to make the playoffs right now. Not the worst odds in the world, but the 10th best team in the NFC, not making the playoffs, by the way. The only teams below the Bucs are the New Orleans Saints, the Minnesota Vikings, the Washington Commanders, the Arizona Cardinals, the New York Giants, and the Carolina Panthers. So they are saying that the Bucs are really the worst of the mediocre teams. Right, I think you take a look at the Seahawks, you think they're probably going to be mediocre this year. You take a look at the Chicago Bears. Why do the Chicago Bears have a higher chance to make the playoffs, by the way, than the Bucs? Is it strength of schedule? Like, what's going on here? We don't know. But apparently, they have negative 150 or minus 150 odds to get under 8.5 wins this year. I don't know, man. I don't know. Just to read the paragraph here, the 4-game stretch that figures to have the most influence in the Bucs' fate is right in the middle of the season. Mid-October to mid-November, Tampa Bay will run this gauntlet. Baltimore, Atlanta at home, at Kansas City in Monday Night Football, and San Francisco. 3 of those 4 games, by the way, are home, by the way. Baltimore, home game Monday Night Football. Atlanta, home game. Kansas City, away game, but then San Francisco is a home game as well. 3-time reigning NFC South champions have lost some high-profile defenders this offseason. Devin White, Shaq Barrett, Carlton Davis. I mean, they traded away Carlton Davis, but they released Shaq Barrett, they lost Devin White, and former OC Dave Canales is now in Carolina, so it could take a few games for everyone to begin rowing in the same direction. I kind of understand where this thing is coming from, this paragraph, I should say. Baltimore, Atlanta, Kansas City, and San Francisco is a tough stretch. 100% agree with that. Even if 3 out of those 4 games are home, I've talked about it in my record predictions and whatnot, but you know, based on where Devin White, Shaq Barrett, and Carlton Davis were last year, I wouldn't necessarily view them as high of profile defenders as this paragraph suggests. I mean, Devin White was benched the last 2 games of the year in those 2 playoff games. Shaq Barrett, while still a fine pass rusher, had definitely lost a step. And Carlton Davis, you know, a good corner in his own right, but hadn't played a full season of 16, 17 games in his career and did struggle last year. Now, granted, to that point, the Bucs haven't necessarily had like 100% you feel great, like, wow, this is like a fantastic replacement because you have Zion McCollum there. You assumedly have KJ Britt, and then you assumedly have, I don't know who, Yaya Diaby at the pass rusher position. So, it was still losses, but I wouldn't necessarily classify them as high profile losses. But I do agree that Baltimore, Atlanta, Kansas City, and San Francisco, that's a tough stretch. If the Bucs do go, let's say 2-2 in that stretch, you got to feel great about where they're at during that point in the year. The loss of Dave Canales, a lot of people have said like that really sucks, and I do agree with that, but that is why you brought in a guy like Liam Cohen. You hope that that can add continuity to the offense. So will that be as big of a factor? I don't know. It could take a few games. I do certainly agree with that, but it also couldn't because there is continuity with that offense as well. So I don't know if I fully agree with this. I think this is kind of the floor of where the Bucs are, right? Like 7.8 wins, let's say, like you round it up. Let's just round it up. It's 8 wins, right? I think that is like 1 win above the floor. I think 7-10 is the absolute floor where I can see the Buccaneers being this upcoming season. I think the ceiling would be like 10 wins, was what I have them projected to be. They could fall somewhere in between. They could get 8 wins, which would put them above the Chicago Bears. They could get 9 wins, which would put them above the Seattle Seahawks or right up there with the Seattle Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys, competing for a wild card spot, by the way. So it's interesting. And it's weird because the Seahawks are projected to get more wins than the Bucs, but the Bucs have better odds to make the playoffs. And the Bears, for some reason, have way better. I mean, that's got to be strength of schedule, I imagine. But, taking a look at it, the Bucs have a plus 140 to make the playoffs, a plus 300 to win the division. It's not terrible. It's not terrible in my opinion. That's certainly better than the Saints. It is pretty close. I want to see what the Falcons' odds are to win the division. Minus 120. So the Bucs have the second best odds to win the division. Falcons seem like they're making the playoffs either way, according to these algorithms and whatnot. So it's going to be an interesting year, man. It seems like, according to these algorithms, according to this article, seems like there's a lot of doubt for the Bucs. I mean, a team that, again, went to the divisional round last year, in my opinion, didn't lose as many pieces as, say, the Dallas Cowboys, or as high profile of pieces as the Cowboys or the Rams. I feel like they are a better team than the Seahawks, in my opinion, whenever you just stack the rosters top to bottom. So that's interesting. The Bears, is that hype from Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze? I mean, I don't know. Like, the Bears could be a very good team. It wouldn't surprise me if the Bears are a wild card team. But I just feel like the Bucs are a little bit, skimped on here, right? I don't know if I would 100% put them above the Bears at this point. I probably would, but I mean, that offense is stacked, though. I would probably put them above the Seahawks. I may put them above the Cowboys and the Rams. I would maybe consider doing that. I mean, they do have Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs and everything, but, like, I would heavily consider putting them above the Rams. I would heavily consider them putting them above the Seahawks. 10th? I don't know about that one. Maybe if you want to say 7th, or even, even if you want to put them up at 4th, competing for that NFC South, that's kind of where I would have the Bucs at. I would probably have them either A, in that last wild card spot, or B, right below that last wild card spot. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear it down in the comments section below. Do you agree with the projected wins here on this article? Do you disagree with it and these odds that are present here? Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear them. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.